back, everybody. Another episode of Real Life Stories with Laura Lindwall. I'm here today with my friend. I'm going to call her that. We just met a few days ago, but we've really gotten some great connections together. And I'm so happy Dawn Williams is here today to share her story with all of you. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I don't know how really clear I've been with my purpose on this part of my journey on not only building my brand, but my YouTube channel of Real Life Stories. It's founded on my speaking platform of No More Pockets, the discoveries I've come across in sharing my personal story and journey with others, and coming to understand that what I thought was my story and my experiences is everybody's story. We all have a story to tell. Many of us are still wanting to share our stories, not only for the empowerment they bring to us, but hopefully for the empowerment and inspiration they might offer to others. So in wanting to build this on a bigger, broader level, I thought, let's give other people the opportunity to be on stage and to share their story. You don't have to be a speaker. I know this is Dawn. She is moving into, well, I'm going to let Dawn share that with you. But this is just my way of giving back to all who have given me the opportunity to share my story and hopefully see if others can find their moment and their story to share and allow themselves to move forward in that, whether on their personal journey or on their career journey. So that being said, I'm going to start with the bio Dawn sent me, just to give you guys a little bit of a broader overview of who Dawn is. And from there, I'm going to let Dawn choose to tell her story with all of you as she sees fit. So let's see here. From Dawn's bio, she says, I hold multiple certifications in life coaching, emotional intelligence, and fitness training, and I have taken numerous courses on trauma-informed and strength-based coaching. And for the last 2 years, I have been studying the research coming from positive psychology. I am also a national award-winning writer, and I serve as associate publisher of the Senior News 50 and Better, a monthly publication for boomers and seniors. And I will be releasing several books in early 2020. Whew. Despite having lived with recurring depression since the age of 7, I have made it my mission to remain an unrelenting optimist. Love that. To manage my symptoms when they occur and to build a very happy life. I want to share all I've learned during more than 40 years of studying psychology and finding ways to apply that knowledge to those who are struggling. Knowledge is power, and I believe from the depths of my soul that the human spirit is capable of overcoming adversity and moving from simply surviving to fully thriving. I love that. Beyond work, I hold the title of a black belt recommended in Taekwondo. I lift weights and I run when I must. I love being in nature, playing with my 2 huge rescue dogs, and doing anything creative as well as reading. Bucket list items include, and I love that you shared this because this is one of mine too, seeing the Aurora Borealis,
right?
Experiencing 23 hours of daylight in the land of midnight, and being a dancer in a flash mob. We boomers still have moves, LOL.
Yes, we do.
So I loved your bio. Thank you for sending that to me because it gives not only really a more intimate look at your past and what brought you to this point, but also the fun aspects of you. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, life has to be fun because honestly, if we're going to be really truthful, life is hard.
Yeah.
There are a lot of struggles and obstacles. And I know most of us give it our best, but that doesn't mean those unexpected barriers pop up. So if you go through life expecting the best, but preparing for the worst, I think that gives you some resilience. It gives you the ability to move forward with more confidence and the self-efficacy to know you can handle what life throws at you. And that's kind of been the attitude that's gotten me through most of my life.
So do you want to share on that a little bit more, how that attitude is developed?
Sure. The short version is I lost my mom when I was 7 and grew up in an extremely violent home. This did a lot of damage to my self-esteem and sense of worth in the world. But something in me all along knew this exact phrase kept coming into my mind. There's something more. There is something more. I had no idea what that meant or what it looked like, but those words gave me so much hope that I was able to come out of childhood not unscathed, but certainly not jaded, certainly not among what usually happens to children in abusive homes. I didn't become one of the statistics. And, for the grace of God, I don't know why, but I chose to make my life the best it could be.
So this is interesting because in an interview I did yesterday, the gentleman I interviewed said almost the same thing. Like he came out of his experiences of childhood and somehow maintained this attitude of he wasn't looking at the worst of it. He was really realizing, like you, I have a choice here in how I'm going to look at this. I know a little bit more of your story. So it's really fascinating to me is how do you know, or how do you think that you get through that? This is a question I asked him too. Do you believe in some people being born optimists or pessimists? I know with your studies of psychology, I thought this would be, because I've had people say, well, you were just born an optimist. And I thought, is that really true?
There's some debate in the field. Some researchers believe that we are born with a set of traits that are stable throughout our lifetime, and that even if we learn different responses in general, that under times of stress, we revert to those characteristics. I don't think it's as simple as that. I think that, and please let me note, I do not hold a psychology degree. I've just been studying it since I was 14, and it's one of my favorite things in the world.
Thank you for sharing that.
It seems to me that life teaches us from the time we're born. We're developing this world map. It may be optimistic, it may be pessimistic. The meaning is actually unique to the individual. I saw a video a few days ago of what happens in the brain when you're learning new things. You're actually creating new neural pathways. Yeah. So that tells me you could possibly be born with a certain combination of traits, but neuroplasticity makes it possible for us to change that programming, to change the beliefs that we've formed in order to survive what we endured earlier, to find different meaning in the experiences we had, and to see it through a different perspective. You can come out of things bitter, or you can come out of things a little wiser than you were before, and determined to use that to go forward in a more positive way.
Oh, so true. I love it. You just said that. Yeah, it's choice and also a learning, right?
Mm-hmm. We should always be learning. We are always learning. If we're not conscious about it, sometimes we're learning things that allow us to cope, to get through difficulties. Mm-hmm. And I believe every action and belief serves a purpose in the moment. But when you get past that moment, that belief may no longer serve you. It actually may hinder you. It may be getting in your way. And that's part of what coaching does. It helps people kind of explore those beliefs that we may not even be aware are there, but they're active all the time. They're kind of like the software that encourages us to behave in a particular way. And that can be relearned.
That is so fascinating. I love this. The study of neuroscience and neuroplasticity, fascinates me. Yes.
It's a whole new world.
It is. And it shows you there really are no limitations if you're willing to look at, so when you have people like you come in who are willing to help these people who come to you move through these and accept these new beliefs. It's just new doors you're opening in their life for them. What was there, so we talk about a little bit about defining moments. Mm-hmm. And it might have been one,
Mm-hmm.
and there, like No More Pockets was a defining moment when I had that first thought thinking, you can't hide your hand anymore, and how it changed my life. To get you to where you are now and wanting to help and share with people. Was there one defining moment that you think, or was it a culmination of several moments that you started to become aware of?
I think the first defining moment set in motion a path that led me to where I am. I have been a writer all my life. When I finally left the abusive home, I struggled a lot. I was 17 years old. I had to work multiple jobs to survive. And I went a little wild for a while. Sowed the wild oats, so to speak, that I guess I had to get that out of my system. And then I landed my first real job as a reporter, and that had been my dream job since, grade school.
To be a reporter.
To be a reporter for
Really?
a small community paper. And I loved it. It paid very low reporting. It was not a field you went into if prosperity, financial prosperity
Was your goal?
was your goal.
Okay.
And but I loved the work, and I wrote constantly. When I was 22, I gave birth to my first daughter. By that point, I had been in therapy several times. I was aware that the depression was the result of early trauma, and that I had some work to do, and it would probably be a long process, but I was functioning well. I was able to be happy, to enjoy life. And I remember the night she was born, and I looked down into her perfect, innocent face. I couldn't believe something so beautiful had come through someone like me. But she had. So maybe that meant there was still something worth redeeming in myself. And I just remember holding her, feeling love like I had never felt before, tears running down my face. And yeah, that was the beginning of the journey.
Your daughter.
Mm-hmm. Another one came along 3 years later, and my caboose was a surprise.
Caboose.
She came along 11 years after the second one. They're all grown now. 2 of them have children of their own. They are beautiful, intelligent, compassionate, responsible, just wonderful people, and great sense of humor, and a desire to enjoy life, to embrace everything that's there for them. They don't shy away from what's difficult. They embrace it and find a way to move forward. And
Obviously, the apples don't fall far from the tree.
obviously,
I got that from you.
a wounded young woman is going to make a lot of mistakes as a young mother, but love heals a lot.
Amen.
And I gave them all the love I had, so I'm hoping the mistakes had a lot less impact than the love did. But they're doing well. And when the last one, the youngest, left home she lived away for a year in another state, and I was in my almost mid-50s at the time and realized it's my turn.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. All these years I've been putting off the psychology degree. I'm like 17 credits away from my bachelor's. I could do whatever I want now.
It's a powerful moment, isn't it, when you have that realization? It's like,
Yes.
yeah.
It was so exciting. So, I had already had my first coach training. I wanted more advanced training because, I truly believe that coaches do more than just help people set goals.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to manage your emotions is a huge part of that. Learning how to be more critical of the way you think, not just accept the random thousands of thoughts that run through our heads every day.
Right.
The things we say without even realizing it's negative, like, why are things always so hard? if some little thing goes wrong.
Yes.
Those are reflective of some of the beliefs we hold. Yeah. And so, of course, we're going to be creating these kinds of situations. If you believe everything is hard, chances are you feel strong when you take care of those hard things.
Yeah.
So it's serving a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to find another way to find your strength, your true strength. Where does that come from? For me, it comes from my love for other people. I know it sounds naive and cliche, but I just feel so much compassion for other people, especially sitting one-on-one, hearing their story, hearing what they're saying that they're not even aware they're saying, and then just kind of, letting them know what I observe, holding up a mirror for them, shining a spotlight on things that they haven't been able to look at before.